Welcome to the Hanson Library Board of Trustees meeting being held on August 27th, 2020 at 6:34 p.m.
Okay, so we have minutes from July 28th.
Has everybody already reviewed them? If so, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Discussion, anyone?
Yes, I have a question and would like to discuss the computers. Let me see, we're under, I lost my place, sorry.
Is that under the reopening?
Is it? Okay. About buying staff computers.
Might have been under.
Let me see if I can find it. The search. I tried to avoid printing it. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. Other, sorry. Director's report. Other, the bullet on the bottom, near the bottom of the first page.
Yeah.
3 new staff computers were updated from Windows 7 and due to COVID-19 delay were installed in July. Am I correct that there were 3 new staff computers with Windows 10 were purchased to replace staff computers operating on Windows 7?
Yes.
Okay, should that be clarified? Because it's not clear. It says staff computers were updated from Windows 7. Maybe it'd be...
Just say to Windows 10?
Yes. 3 new staff computers with Windows 10 were purchased to update staff computers operating Windows 7.
Yep, we can add that. Everybody's fine with that?
Replace what's there. And then leave the end, and due to COVID-19 delay, were installed in July. Right? Okay.
So I'll adjust my motion to accept the minutes as adjusted by Linda.
Diane, I have something to say as well. Under Director's Report Financial, I remember when you said the library is running on a 1/12 budget. Is everyone running on, every department running on a 1/12 budget?
At that time, everybody was.
Okay. And my other concern was under Plymouth County Hospital site, the second line. It says an architectural plan will be drawn up by architectural student groups. I don't recall saying that. I'm not saying I didn't.
What it was is that you had brought it up and then Teresa had clarified it. So that's why I put it all together to kind of clarify it in the beginning.
Okay. All right. Then we're all set, Diane. If you want to finish.
Okay, so I will make a motion to accept the minutes as adjusted by Linda's note.
Okay, and who will second it?
I'll second it again.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Linda?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
Diana?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Teresa, are you there?
I don't think, no, she hasn't joined. I don't know if she's running late or. Does
And
anybody want to text her?
Myself is aye. So All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
I will try texting Teresa if you'd like and asking if she's going to join the trustees meeting. It means that I'll probably be out of focus a little for a minute if you want.
Yeah, that's good.
You want
Thank
me to do that?
Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
So I'll move on to the director's report. Excuse me. So first, statistics. Again, nothing really different from previous months. We had 1,902 checkouts, so that was through curbside in July. And there were 487 pickups. There were 18 online card registrations. And as you see, Hoopla is doing really well. We had 240 checkouts compared to last July was only 176. And then again, Overdrive, almost 750 checkouts this July compared to last July was only 434. So again, the digital, digital services continue to be very popular. Any questions? I'm sorry?
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
great.
Moving on to budget update. Again, we started the new fiscal year, so our budget was approved at the July town meeting, 310,565 for salaries and 144,902 for expenses. Our materials expenditure requirement for FY21 is going to be 72,875, and by the end of July, we'd already spent about 6,800 toward materials. Starting this year, we are going to be paying our water bill. So previously that had been a bill that had been handled by town hall, but now they've split it up so that each department or each building is going to be paying their own bill. And they've added about $1,750 to our budget to cover that. So it's not going to come out of, they're adding extra money in to cover it. So it's just a matter of us handling it instead of them.
Do you guys,
Water
is there
bill.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Corrine, and then I'd like to ask a question.
The water bills are going to quarterly starting next year.
Yes, I heard that too. So
Is there a rationale behind this change?
I don't know. That was just the town accountant had mentioned that's so I think sometimes they want, instead of one, like somebody up there handling it all, it's easier if each department does it. Takes a little bit off of them from handling all the bills for all the different buildings. So, but I don't know if there's if it makes sense in some other way financially for the town.
Well, he said, one time I heard him say that as far as quarterly, it's easier for the citizens,
Mm-hmm.
Individual households.
Yeah.
That part of it is the quarterly part.
I have one other question on it.
Sure.
Will that figure go into any reports for state aid? Will it have any ramifications on our state aid requirements?
So it does increase our municipal appropriation slightly. So it'll, affect that, but I don't see it. I mean, such a small amount, it's not really going to make any big change.
Okay, well, the town will just have to give us more money if it increases.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, thank you.
And then speaking of that, I actually, on the, just this past Tuesday, I attended, Teresa's joining. I attended a webinar about the financial report for state aid. So I've already done the ARIS report and submitted that. The financial report's due in October, so I'm going to be working on that, finishing that up in September and submitting it. So that's pretty much an update on the budget. Moving on to programming. Obviously in July we had summer reading start, and we had 12 programs that we held. The most popular ones were the teddy bear workshop that was sponsored by the foundation, and we had 24 kits, and they were all taken. And then Allison Andrews did some virtual art classes for us, which is very accommodating, and those were really popular as well. We had one of them had 15 students, 14, another had 12, so those did really well. I didn't put it in the report. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you refresh my memory? I saw them posted. Now, there was a fee involved, and did the library provide or Allison provide the materials? Is that how it worked?
Only one of them had, the students had to pay. The other two, they were free. One of
Okay.
them, they had to, purchase supplies. I think it was $12.
Okay, that just might be helpful in planning foundation events going forward. Thank you.
I forgot to include it in my report, but obviously, we have the organizing workshop in September coming up. I think there's already, let me see, 27 people signed up. That's pretty
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
good. And then I had worked with Juvie Hartweg to partner with Hanson Kiwanis and a group called Hanson Conversations about Race and Privilege to co-sponsor a diversity talk. The author is Peter Jamero, and it's scheduled for September 25th. Right now, I actually just reached out to Juvie because I know all the fields are closed for the EEE threat. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect, because we were hoping to have a in-person portion where people could come and sit on the green with social distancing and masks, and have a inflatable screen from the high school to borrow that. And then there also would be a Zoom, because the author, I believe, lives in California. So he's, he'll be coming in through Zoom, and then we would have people be able to join from their home through Zoom as well. But I don't know, like I said, I just reached out to her today and I haven't heard back from her. I don't know if there's going to be, we're going to either have to push the date back, or if we're going to have to cancel the in-person portion because the fields are, there's a curfew for the fields. So I'm kind of waiting to hear about that. But hopefully.
Is it something that the Zoom link could be published for people to do at home?
Well, yeah. So there, like I said, there is definitely a Zoom portion where if they don't want to actually come and sit on the field, they could join that way. But whether we keep the in-person portion of it or not that's kind of up in the air. So I'm just waiting to see what, how Juvie wants to handle that, or what, she's heard from the Board of Health or whoever, the other contacts in how they're going to be handling that. So
what time of night is it supposed to be?
6:30.
Yeah.
And it said the curfew, from what I read, the curfew isn't being lifted till the first hard frost, which I don't think would happen by September 25th. So, but you never know with the weather. So, so I'm just waiting to hear back on that. But hopefully, it's his book is Growing Up Brown, Memoirs of a Filipino American. So he was going to discuss that book. And so hopefully we can proceed with it in some fashion.
Right.
Sounds good.
So that's an update on that. I'll move on to just an update on where we're at with services and reopening during COVID-19. So things are continuing to go smoothly. As you know, we opened on August 17th by appointment. And prior to that, I had notified the town administrator that we were going to be opening. And he said that we were required to have the health agent come down to check on things. So he did come down and do that. And he's pleased with everything that we had set up. So, he just was checking, make sure we had the hand sanitizer and the social distancing markers and things like that. So, so that went fine. Just some stats. So,
Could I ask a question about that?
Oh, yeah.
In reading about preparation for other places reopening, they address ventilation systems. Has that been addressed or looked into at all in the library?
We have been trying to open some of the windows and keep the back door open periodically just to kind of get some airflow in. But nobody's mentioned anything about doing anything to the HVAC. We actually did just like a couple weeks ago, we had the company come down because there was a problem with one of the AC units, so they had to fix that. And they did recently put new filters in, so those are changed from when we were closed from before. So, but there's I don't know if there's too much. I mean, some libraries have mentioned they've made some modifications, but I haven't seen it be like something that like it's really important that you make sure to do. I've kind of heard different opinions about it.
I'm wondering if, as we go with masks on, maybe it isn't as critical, but I don't know. That's why I'm asking. And maybe you could discuss it with the Board of Health and get their take on it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's just better, I guess, to look into things before there's an issue.
Yeah. And one of the librarians, I think she's a director in sales. Her daughter is a does something with like viruses and like immunology or whatever. So she actually did a webinar for librarian directors, and I couldn't attend, but they sent a link to the recorded video. So I'll take a look at that because that might be something that she touched upon.
Great.
So I'll definitely see if that's something that she thought was important.
Mhm.
Now, the senior center is still closed, correct?
Right. Yeah. There's Mary's is working there, and I don't know if some of the staff might be as well, but there's no. And I think she has meetings periodically from the different programs that they run for, getting people on government benefits and things like that. But there's no regular people coming in on a regular basis.
Okay.
He's also gone out and made house calls.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, we've had about. I'm sorry.
Oh, excuse me. I was going to ask how it is working out with the bathroom access.
Yeah, we haven't had anybody, I mentioned that when the health agent came down, and he didn't really think it would be an issue considering that people only hear half an hour. So
Good.
it wasn't a big deal. So we've been open to the public for less than 2 weeks, and we've had 57 people come in so far. So it's averaging about 5 to 10 each day. For August, so far for curbside, we've had 381 pickups. And just to compare, in June, there was 294, and in July, it was 487. So we're still doing, a lot of people are still doing curbside as opposed to coming in. So it's good that we have both options available for people.
Any idea how many have participated in the story walk?
Yes, yeah, we had, there was one woman who came, I think, with her granddaughter, and they stayed out there for, it was quite a while, like going to each one and reading, and they said they really enjoyed it. So, and we've had other feedback from others that.
Yeah, I saw a mother with 2 little kids walking it, and I thought it was sweet. So
yeah,
that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So we are going to be, I think you had voted before to close September 5th, and then obviously we're closed Labor Day the 7th. And I'm planning on resuming Saturday hours 9 to 3, starting September 12th again for, and that Saturday's curbside we're doing. So we'll be publicizing that soon. And, we've just had a lot of people comment and how they're really glad that they can come back in. And we're trying to be as flexible as possible with people. So, while sticking to the guidelines. But people have been very understanding if there's something that, we can't do or has to, be postponed or whatever. So just overall, it's been going really smoothly.
You're doing an excellent job. And on top of the other statistics, we have electronic access too. So I think
yeah, definitely. All right. So that was all I had for that. With any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. So we can move on to the letter so welcome, Teresa, by the way, hello.
Hi, sorry, I was late.
She was really helpful with getting this letter. Me, Corrine, and Teresa had worked on it, and just want to say, we're very thankful that you helped us out with this. And so we thought we could kind of go over it and see if anybody had any comments or changes or questions about it.
I had quick comment. We really appreciate your help, Teresa. The last paragraph, it said, we would also ask that a trustee member be appointed to the PSC. Should that be PCH? Plymouth County Reuse?
Yeah, I'm still looking for Karen's email, so I don't have it open in front of me, but hold on one second. Let me just
it's dated August 24th. I don't know if that will help.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I got it. So I'm sorry, the last paragraph was?
Fourth line at the end, it says PSC reuse.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it should be PCH, yeah.
Okay.
I'll change that.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess the one question is, so we're asking that a trustee member be appointed to these to reuse committees. The question I think that begs then is, are there trustees that would in fact want to serve on either of those committees or attend those meetings, right? We shouldn't ask to be appointed if we're not actually committed to attending.
Well, I know I've been going to the Plymouth County Reuse Committee meetings right along. The McQuon Reuse Committee meeting is generally held on a Thursday, but it's like around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I know some have children in school, some work all day. I'm available for everything, so.
Yeah, I really would like to get that changed because I'm supposed to be on that committee as a member of the Housing Authority, and you know, I have said over and over again, I can't do it in the middle of the day when I'm at work. So I think, you know, we should ask, I personally would like to see it changed. If it's changed, then I'm happy to serve in dual roles. If it's not, then there would need to be somebody else.
Okay, I know I thought I was going to be included in the recent meeting, but I hadn't heard about it. That was the conversation last March. But is anybody else available to volunteer or interested? But, you know, if it's just not your thing, it's okay.
You've been so involved, Corrine, and you said you're willing to. You've established the relationships and you know what's going on more than anyone else in detail, I think. So I would just assume you do it if it's all right with everyone.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do both. I enjoy it.
And if Teresa is on it for the housing and you're on it for the library, I think that's even better.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think the letter's excellent, and I think has it been sent yet?
No.
No, okay, because this is a draft. But there was an article in the Express today, and it sounds like people are starting to get the message that we definitely want to be considered for both the Plymouth County and the McQuon sites for future possibilities of building expansion or new construction. So it sounds like the word is getting through, finally. I felt like we've said this over and over a number of years, quite a few years, and no one really ever had it register. But now it sounds like it's getting through, and this letter will just reinforce what's happening, I think. So I think it's excellent.
So Linda, I'm not home yet. So what did the Express say?
Yeah, this actually ties in with the recap of the selectmen's meeting next. Corrine and I both listened to the meeting. There was a selectmen's meeting last night, and there was talk about what's happening with McQuon. And they did mention that they know that, you know, they're aware that the library and senior center both need to expand and that we're interested in this kind of general area. And they want to try to figure out kind of a comprehensive plan for what's going to happen to McQuon and you know, our lot as well, considering like this, like I said, the whole area. They kind of called it like a campus because it's near the school, and so they, you know, they were definitely aware that we're interested. I think they did mention though that there's another RFP going out soon.
yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I didn't know if that was from Keller Williams, who was the company that was handling it before. That could have been. But I don't know. They said soon. I don't know what the exact timeline is.
So I would just make a suggestion that we tie in this letter to those recent conversations, right? So if that was discussed at the last selectmen's meeting, then instead of saying, as you know, but as was discussed at the selectmen's meeting on whatever, you know, and if it's, you know, if somebody had a specific, you know, if you guys were there or you saw the notes or whatever, you could refer to that specifically, right? So that this letter is very current and, you know, tied into the current discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe change the sentence there.
I actually, I was going to bring it up at the next part, but I actually went to the Plymouth County Hospital Reuse Committee meeting last week, and I did my presentation for the library. So, because Matt Dyer is the selectman, I'm sure he spoke to somebody, probably Laura, as she brought to the presentation. But I had also worked with him, and he had suggested this letter too. We have a letter. That was what we after, I think, our last trustees meeting, or around the time of our last trustees meeting. Do you remember me mentioning that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had a phone conversation with Matt, and he's been very helpful in keeping me up to date as Plymouth, the Plymouth County is going along. So I don't know if we're.
I don't know. I do have the article in front of me from the Express. I don't know if anyone wants to hear details now or not. The selectmen said that a formal request for proposal to contractors for possible reuse have produced early returns indicating people were looking for the town to invest in a sewer system first, among other services. And we're not spending any money for somebody else to make money off of that property. Laura Fitzgerald Kemet said, everybody said in the town survey they wanted to retain the property. Both the library and senior center have spoken about the need for expansion.
Excellent,
And,
excellent.
Yeah, and then further on, I guess Laura Fitzgerald Kemet asked for a vote from the board on whether they wanted to sell the property, and I say definitely don't sell it, said Chair Kenny Mitchell. Selectman Matt Dyer. I said whether the property is used for a library or senior center project, a comprehensive plan is needed on how best to use the space. So I thought that was all excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, one of the selectmen had said, why don't we just sell the property? And, you know, I think it generally was agreed in watching the meeting that the other selectmen wanted to keep it as a campus, so to speak. They are going to be putting sidewalks in there. I had the approximate date, but now I don't remember what the date was. But, and so it'll be nice because you'll be able to leave school, walk the sidewalk, go across the street, and also that Mary, Laura also mentioned that Mary Collins would be happy with using the whole space we're in now for the senior center. So I thought that was advantageous. Now, well, do we have any more to say about the letter?
Just so you know, I'm reaching out to Laura and just asking her about the schedule for that committee and timing.
Okay.
And they should be posting the meeting minutes. I want to make sure that those are posted.
But I couldn't find anything when I was in front of the board there at the town hall.
I can't either, so I'm just letting her know that we're looking for them.
Yeah, they have a website now, and my impression when I was at the previous selections meeting when I don't know if it was the previous or the one before, the gentleman who they voted in who was volunteering to maintain a website for the town hall, I understood it that, and I know it's new, so, and it's a volunteer, that all the meetings with the agendas would be posted.
Yeah, they have to be, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be on this website as well.
Mm.
So, but it's, you know, in the beginning stages too, so sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But I did read every one of the postings outside the selectman's office the other day.
Okay.
So,
So did we want to tweak it a little bit though, like Teresa mentioned, to make them aware that we?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. So I can do that and send a draft out to everybody again.
okay.
You want to do that? Because what's the timeline though that we want to? Because you want to approve it, right? If beforehand in some way, or do we want to? Like, when do we think we want to send it to them?
The next meeting is,
I think it's the first.
no, it's changed to Wednesday because election day is the first.
Oh, right. Right.
So it'll be on September 2nd.
Yeah.
So
I think the changes, oh, excuse me. I thought you were done, Kareem.
No, I just would like them to get it sooner rather than later.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Right.
the same thing, and I think the change would probably be so minor. Maybe Karen could just make it and double check with Teresa and send it. Is that good with everyone?
Yeah,
That works for me.
That sounds great.
Okay.
And then Karen and I will go to the meeting,
Yeah.
so if they have any questions, whatever.
Okay. Great.
Do we need a motion or anything to have the letter sent or not?
I don't think we do, but
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
we already kind of talked about the selectmen's meeting. Plymouth County Reuse, I was there last week, and Matt, said that, I go to the meetings, but I also had something on the agenda, and that was about the library. That when we have an architect, we, want to consider that site as well. I think they were a little surprised. I did say we need to have a separate septic system. There is a big issue over there with the septic system. I'm not sure if you've heard about that, Teresa, or not.
Yeah, no, I spent about 5 years trying to get senior housing back there, and had, many developers come out and do topographical surveys, and I've walked the property, and it's a really, really difficult site for any large scale building.
Right, and they already knew I had told them we were looking for 16,000 square feet as far as the building, and of course then you have the landscaping. Their parking is kind of spread out.
Yeah.
So we know we definitely need, the 40 spaces we have was less than we should have had when the first building was built. We need a lot more spacing. I said 160, but maybe if we had 120, that could work. But they kind of all looked at me a little bit. So the feeling I'm getting is with the different areas, that should cover the library as well. So,
Can I ask, have you done like a preference? I think one of the reasons to hold the hospital was in the event that McQuan wasn't available because they were thinking about selling it for some other use. But have you amongst yourselves decided that if there was the two parcels together, one is preferable? It seems like McQuan space might be preferable in terms of what you're looking for in space and your continuity of where you are now and all of that.
well,
I think we definitely have said that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Most people would agree with that. John Papp and I this morning met Marian Damasio from the Plymouth County Committee, and we walked the property, or a very good portion of it. So I did see where the hospital used to be, and that's nice and flat and everything. At first they were talking about us being in the back. Part of the land slopes down. Once we got towards the back, it's so dense with trees that we really couldn't walk in there. For me, it was hard to visualize. Because I asked about, well, to me, the roads would be updated because the roads in there are rather dated. So there's been a lot of conversation, like I know Marianne was saying, they put in the maple grove somewhere, and it sounded like a lot of the tree area would stay. So she was surprised, and I said, well, just in the first conversations I had with the committee, Matt had kind of a rough plan. That's where he had put us, near a meadow. I think there'd be a meadow on either side. Isn't that what she said, John? John?
There's a long meadow for walking trails if you're looking at the property on the left side that's not developable, you can't develop.
Right.
There's a group of trees, so I think it would be next to that, behind the water tower.
Yeah. we did a little bit of the circuit trail, and I know where the new circuit, to connect will be. So, my takeaway was that McQuon is the best site for us.
But maybe that's how it should be presented if we're talking about it, to say to folks, look, we think McQuon is the right spot for us, but if the town is making alternative plans for that piece of property, then we need to start looking into alternative places in town as well. And the one that we've identified as a backup is the hospital, which is also moving forward with its own development plan. So, hey, Hanson, you need to keep us in the loop and let us know what you're doing with these two parcels of land, because we've stated a preference for one. We'd like to move forward with that. If you're going in a different direction, then, hey, we want to be able to look at this other piece of land that's under development.
Right. John.
Right. Question. Have we delineated why we prefer McQuon, or should someone be ready to, when it is presented, that that's our preference?
Well, as I was saying earlier, John, I don't know if you heard me. I said that in conversation afterwards, you and I felt that McQuon would be the best site.
Right, and our main reason for that was its central location to the senior center and the school.
Right.
Now, if the regionalization committee decides they're going to move this, they're going to back out of the Whitman Hanson High School and relocate a school somewhere in Hanson, that may make a difference as to what our preference is. But I think the Macon Street area is where we want to be right now, because it's more centrally located.
Right.
Yeah. I'll also say there are other obstacles to the hospital site. One, there are quite a few neighbors who are very concerned with increased traffic up there. As it is, even having a park there, that's something that they're very concerned about. A library would have, exponentially, increased traffic. There is septic. There's just the space issue of actually putting in the type of facility that this town needs, along with the other things that are being planned for there. There is the access, in terms of sidewalks. There's keeping it close to the senior center and the schools. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to stay where you are if you had the space there to do what you need to do.
Right, absolutely.
Exactly.
When I was looking at the site, when I was first there, and more so after we toured it, to me, it just seems there's so much to do to prep the land for doing all the different things they want to do. Expanding the roadways, trees are going to have to come down. And, there's a lot of junk there, because I asked if it was frequented by people late at night, and she wasn't sure, but there was study found signs. Yeah, any place like that would be. We did see some people walking, and that was the first, I think, way back when we started talking about this. The traffic thing was in the back of my mind too, and all those homes that are there, and I myself wouldn't like that much increased traffic.
I had another thought. I know we've said this before. We had an MBLC building consultant tell us that we could, in our building project proposal and grant, include funding for the demolition of McQuon. Now, the timing of when a building grant might be available is completely unknown, but maybe that should be stated again to people to make it more appealing for them to save us a spot and to consider us for McQuon.
Did Ruth state any monetary amount, or she was just saying that you need to look into that?
She said that it could be covered as part of the grant, that the money from the grant would pay for demolition if you were going to be putting a library in that spot.
Okay,
And I actually do have some news. So they did, at the state level, they did approve some money for, which will cover all the libraries that are currently on the waiting list. So once those are, and that's usually a good sign that then shortly thereafter follows a new construction grant round.
right.
So it does look, I don't think they got exactly what they need, what they wanted, what they asked for, but I think they said it is enough to cover the current waiting list.
Oh, that's awesome, because I know in the past some of the people on the waiting list, when they've been awarded, the towns and cities haven't come through with their part, and so that's very optimistic sounding.
Yeah.
That's terrific news.
Right.
Karen,
Yeah.
this line recap of selecting meetings, can we keep having that with also listing Plymouth County reuse and the phone reuse?
Okay.
We'll just automatically have updates each time, even if it's to say there hasn't been anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone's input as well. And John, I thank you for coming today.
All right. Any other things about the letter or? Okay. So were there any foundation updates, Linda?
A couple quick ones, if I could. Teresa has created the Hanson Public Library Foundation Facebook page. Yes, it looks awesome. I don't know if everyone's seen it.
I've been inviting lots of people to it.
Pardon?
There's a lot of likes. I think we're over
170 as of today.
Oh, I think 300 people have shared.
Really?
Yes.
Can you just send me the address and I can we can like it as our page? Can do that.
Oh,
Like
sure.
follow it.
Yeah. Hanson Library Foundation.
Yeah, it would be great for you to be able to mention it on the library page.
Okay.
Because I know I went through my address book and shared it for people to like, and a lot of them have. So.
That's terrific, yeah. And I will be sending both Karen and Teresa the flyer for the organizing workshop. Maybe you could both post it on social media and Teresa on the Facebook page. Terrific.
So Linda, I just wanted to follow up with you. I did post it on there. So there's the graphic and then there's also the link and people can register through that link.
It's under events, but when you go on Facebook, if you just, can you put it just as a posting, a daily kind of posting thing too, so people see it or not?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw it, but I just thought, you hit people different directions and reminders and stuff. But I think it's terrific.
I have the JPEG that you sent me, so I'll post it on the...
I think I updated the flyer slightly, so I'll just send it to you again if you want.
Okay.
But there was a nice article I had sent to the Express Tracy put in today with the graphic about the organizing. And I just looked at the Express online, and the graphics in color and very stands out quite well. It really catches your eye. So that's terrific, I think. I'm very pleased with 24 people already, and I think we'll get even more.
Oh, I know. I mean, one of the ones that I attended at a different library, I think there were 6 people. So,
wow. Yeah. That brings to mind, does anyone want to give any input? First of all, I'll tell you that I asked Karen to send out to the library directors listserv and asked librarians if there were any particular take and make crafts that they thought were particularly successful, or webinars or virtual classes that they sponsored. And I thought that might be helpful going forward as we try and plan foundation events. does anyone have any thought? And my thought is, from what I've seen and what Karen has told us, there's just a wealth of programs out there for free, excellent quality. I like how the library's posting for our patrons some of the better ones. I think the most successful ones we had this summer were ones where people could participate building the teddy bear and doing the art project rather than just like an online craft get together and that kind of thing. I don't know if anyone else has some input, if they agree with me or don't disagree or have thoughts about what the foundation might consider sponsoring going forward.
I don't have particular ideas off the top of my head, but I do agree reaching out to other libraries would be great.
Yeah, I actually did send that out already, Linda, and I've gotten quite a lot of responses and other people saying that they want to know what other people have sent me. So I'm going to be compiling them all probably sometime next week to give, some people time to respond. And I will send that to you and out to the listserv as well for the other librarians that have asked.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think you have to do a cost-benefit analysis on things. I'm not sure, like the sign language sounded like a terrific activity, but we didn't get the response that I had hoped, I think, for the price involved. So, yeah, we'll look at it and talk about it at the next foundation meeting, but I thought we could get people thinking about it and see if anyone wanted to say anything right now. All right, excellent. And then quick update, I don't know, holiday silent auctions. I know Nancy Meyer's got some books together and baskets and gave them to Corrine. I don't know if there are any other updates on the holiday silent auctions.
Well, I'm putting baskets. I have to send out the memo, which I'll do by the weekend. The email that we have 4 questions to ask directors.
Okay.
I've been gathering more things. I'm taking pictures, and I've been sending them to Diane and Pam, and Pam is collecting. One thing I did want to mention is I'm having my left knee replaced October 21st. And so all that I can do, I'll do before then, and Pam will have everything. I will be able to go when we're planning to have the so-called open house. So I'll be there, but the 3 weeks in between, when the silent auctions start and when I have surgery, I'll be at home. So I really won't be able to do anything in those 3 weeks.
Right.
I've been collecting baskets. I probably, from what people have given me, I probably have close to 25, 30 baskets actually. And so I've started putting some together, and I'm hoping to make contact with Joanne Estes to give her the pet themed things that I have. And also, if anybody is making baskets themselves and they need a basket, they can let me know. I've got more than enough. But that, yeah, I'm kind of pecking away at it. And then Corinne's been giving me some stuff. And I actually might have a friend of mine has a young son who is an only child and gets a lot of things. And he said that he has a lot of books actually that he's received that he hasn't even looked at. So hopefully I'll be able to get some more children's books, which I know we wanted to put 1 or 2 or whatever it was with the blankets that Corinne was making. So hopefully I'll be able to get that soon.
We can do just some book bundles too, if we end up with a lot of the books. But
yeah, we do have books and exercise, yoga stuff. I have a huge box of books, but I also went through Zach's books again, and he has so many that are like brand new. So I was able to do 10 that I could use with the pros. So, but So that's it on that.
Oh, that all sounds good. And if someone's working on a basket and finds they could use some items to supplement it, keep that in mind to reach out to other directors and volunteers, because not every director feels comfortable putting a basket together, but they might be willing to donate a couple items or come up with a couple items too.
I also got 2 volunteers, and I'm working on the 3rd one.
That's awesome.
My neighbor, and maybe some of you, Linda, you might know her because she was an aide in the classroom. Diane Lane.
The name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to it.
Yeah, she had Stacy and Jason Lane. They were in school. Well, she would be more than happy to volunteer to put the baskets together and help us, when we start selling them and everything. So she has all of that.
Good. We could use extra help.
Yes, always recruiting new faces and volunteers. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I have on the foundation. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say about the foundation?
I just have one question. I know when we set up the silent auction baskets, I'm trying to remember. I know we had the open house was when we first had them open for people to look at and stuff.
Right.
I know we were kind of thinking of some ideas of what we could do for the open house, obviously not knowing how things were going to be then. So I didn't know if anybody had, I know Corinne had mentioned a few alternatives, like maybe setting up something outside or whatnot. I just didn't know if maybe we could be thinking of possible alternatives, how we could do the open house, or if we were just gonna just kind of wait and see how things develop.
So one thing you could do for the baskets, if you haven't already done this, is bring them all to the library, and I could come in with my camera and take photos, and then have a slideshow of baskets to vote on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excellent idea.
Yes, that would be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And to do it ahead. And I think there's even an app. I saw it on some other fundraiser that does silent auctions for a client, that there was actually an app that you linked to and you could put in your bid, just like a silent, where you write it down, but you write in your name. So we could explore that. I'll look for that. Let me make a note.
Well, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be good.
Mm-hmm. And anything else right now?
But Pam, were you talking more about like what to do for the actual open house itself? Or?
Well, kind of both. I mean, I know the library was going to be, that we were going to be posting some pictures, which is great, and the app sounds great. But I was also wondering about some people. I actually had, when I was getting some baskets from my aunt, a neighbor had said how they liked the idea of making the appointments at the library, making an appointment and coming and looking at the baskets in person too. So obviously we could still have, people, record things or let the staff know if they're interested in something. But also I was thinking about the day of, if we were going to, I know Corinne said something about like getting some balloons, being outside, that sort of a thing. So I was kind of asking about that too, if we had any ideas on how to approach that. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of unknowns, but I just didn't know about that as well.
What's the date? Is there a specific date set?
Yes, it's Saturday, November 14th. And most anything we have would have to be outdoors. So my only thought so far, I think, would be like the take and make crafts, maybe because they have like targeted to 3 different age groups, preschool, primary, middle school, and adults. And I don't know if anyone else has any different thoughts.
Oh, we never do crafts for, like, did you say adults? Because I want to craft.
Yes. Do you have any ideas what you'd like to make?
No, I always feel left out when it comes to crafting events.
No, that was one of my groups.
That like to do that sort of stuff, or people think they're not crafty. So when you give them a kit, that's kind of like, ooh, I can do this, you know. I want to inspire confidence.
Yeah, well, Karen's going to be sharing some ideas for that.
Yeah, we're also going to be trying to do the art show still. Like we feel like we can do that, like remotely people can do the artwork, drop it off, and we can take pictures of it and post it. And then that day, because that's the day usually we would draw the winners. So we could definitely.
I feel like Alice and Andrew should be a judge and not a contestant this year.
Actually, were we planning on doing an adults thing for the art show? I know we didn't do it before because we didn't have many people that were coming up with.
But now we might maybe with.
But I'm thinking now you might actually have a lot more. So
yeah,
might
so
be a good
we're gonna add that back in. Yeah, definitely.
And maybe, I mean, I don't. Well, I was gonna say, when I'm thinking of adult, I don't want to like kind of segregate people, but I'm wondering if maybe because we segregate kids because of the age, that maybe we could have like even an area that could be like older adults, like older patrons. Like, I don't know. I hate to throw out a number because I don't want to offend anybody, but you know what I'm saying, and some of them are so really, my grandmother painted wonderfully into her 70s. So, I mean, I was just thinking maybe we could have like a separate,
a senior
separate area for adults.
Yeah.
Like split it up, Yeah.
This is Diana. Can I just throw one thing that has been running around in my head regarding the silent auctions? Because of the difficulties we're going to run into this year with COVID still being present, and knowing that so many of our items went with the buy it now pricing of last year, is that something we want to consider, is not making it an actual silent auction this year, but more of a buy it now price, a set price. And if you wanted this no tube basket, it's all yours for $40 or whatever. It's just another idea that we can have to make it easier if need be, because that is how the majority of ours sold last year, was buy it now. People came up, cash paid, done. There weren't even bids on them. So just something to think about.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. It was the majority of them. I remember when you and I were putting them out, and people were already grabbing them as we were putting them out, and it might make it a little easier, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was the Red Sox baseball basket that was more of a bidding item. So, and I have not reached out to the Red Sox this year only because I don't even know what they're providing. So I have no problem reaching out. They're the only ones that ever get back of the Red Sox.
What about the soccer? Pepper has a contact with the soccer folks. They usually do pretty good. The Revolution?
Oh, I thought I've tried them before. I thought I've tried them all, but I'll try it again.
Yeah, if you remind me, I'll put you in touch with Pepper and get the person that he always deals with.
Okay.
Without the hundreds of people coming to the open house, it might be better if we can work the online also to have that. If they get sold on a buy it now, the day of the open house, that's great. But I don't know if we really want to limit ourselves to that, and we don't have to decide that tonight.
Well, and even with the online, it can be that there's a buy it now price.
So I'm registering for the auction, the online auction right now, just to see what kind of options they give you. This is the free version. You can always pay for one, but I I can go through it and see kind of what they offer, but I think that they let you do both from what I can see.
Okay.
I understand if we're not having a true open house. Am I correct in saying that? Because you can't have all the people in, okay. And I think when we first talked about it, I, was thinking of setting up the tables outside. I was also volunteering to stand there all day. I can't, I will still have a walker on November 14th. So I won't have switched to a cane, excuse me, till the next week. And not that I won't be there, but I have to stand for so long, then I have to sit down. I was reading all the paperwork today and saying to myself, why did I sign myself up for this? But it's either that or I won't be able to do anything. So I'm not bowing out. I will be there, but I will need to take breaks.
Yeah. Well, we certainly can enlist some other people, Corinne, and have shifts. And we're going to have to actually play it all by ear, I believe, and see what the weather is that day. And maybe we will be able to have tables outside. Maybe we won't. We have to be flexible, I think. That's the word of the...
I agree.
Yeah. And,
I know Erin was, she enjoys volunteering on that day, so I can vouch for her and myself, so.
And my neighbor.
What are you going to do about the food? Because that's always one of the nicest things about all the
I was just thinking that, Teresa. We really can't.
If we wanted, we could offer some juice packs and packs of chips, possibly. We really can't do anything that's not packaged, I'd say. That might be a draw for people, though, if we said those are free as well as the crafts, the take and make crafts.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I don't know if this is the year we should be baking at home and wrapping it and bringing it, as opposed
I'd say no.
But that doesn't mean, I can go over to Restaurant Depot to see what do they have possibly for pre-baked things that could then we could wrap them up individually and have for people to take without it being something that has been baked in somebody's home. These have been baked in commercial kitchens. So that's another thought.
I would rather keep it as simple as possible if we could buy prepackaged snacks myself and desserts, which I think are available at Costco or BJ's. I don't want to stretch people out if we're asking them to do baskets and maybe man the table and help with the silent auction. And we have a membership drive coming up, and I think we have enough on our plate coming up.
I think you also need to be aware of food allergies too.
Right.
Especially with a lot of the younger kids and stuff. I mean, I know for me, obviously my son, if it's in doubt, he just can't eat it. And there's so many younger kids, I think, that come that would enjoy grabbing something, having a snack. So sometimes the prepackaged stuff isn't necessarily a bad thing because it has the stuff listed on it and the parents feel more comfortable.
BJ's has a lot of that. I was over there recently and bought a big thing of snacks, and I was walking around, they have all kinds of stuff. That, you're right, Pam, that a mom or a dad could just look at the package and know if the child have it or not.
Yeah, we do our Halloween shopping there so that it's not all candy we're giving out, so that we have the bags of goldfish and the bags of famous Amos cookies and things like that. So that's not a bad idea. I agree.
Okay. With the unknown of the weather mid-November, I'm thinking we shouldn't have a costumed character.
No.
No.
No. The expense isn't worth it, I think, if the weather was lousy and we can't take the chance. So, okay, good.
Did always have one wearing a big mask.
Well, we have Taco Dragon reserved. Probably Taco Dragon.
Yeah,
Taco
yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah,
Well, you'll have to wait a year, I think.
Would we be able to reserve it for like the next year? Because I feel like that's an opportunity I don't want to miss.
Yeah, I think we should be able to.
Yeah.
Everyone I've had to talk to about postponing or canceling is very understanding and wants to accommodate us in the future.
Right.
Okay, so I'll take care of that.
Great.
I think that probably is about enough for the foundation right now.
Okay. Is there anything else then? Any other thoughts?
Thank you all for your ideas and input.
You're welcome.
So at some point, so I'm looking at, there's a website called 32 Auction, which is the online auction, tool that we can use. So at some point, somebody should just let me know if that's something that you want to set up or not. It looks like it could work. You have both the bidding and the buy now option.
Okay. Is there an option for payment to our bank or
Yeah,
Square account?
it no longer is free at that point, so we'd have to pay for the tool rather than just use the free, online application. But I can look at the pricing and see how much it is.
That would be helpful because we've accepted credit cards at our various events, and Square does charge us a per transaction fee as well as a percentage, and it's worthwhile. So maybe this would be worthwhile too. Make it as easy for people as possible, and they're more apt to bid and buy.
How many baskets do you normally do? Is it more than 20?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, we'd need at least 100, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. So up to 100?
I mean, we don't have that. We're not going to have 100, but if we end up with gift cards and things like that, then it's definitely more than 20.
Okay.
Are you thinking we're going to get gift? Oh, excuse me. Are you thinking we're going to get some gift cards this year, Diana?
I'm not. I may donate some, but I'm not going to hit up any local businesses for any. They're already hurting enough. If anything, I may go and purchase some from local businesses to donate.
Well, so in the past, like if we had a Walmart gift card for $25, we've had a buy now of $20. It doesn't seem to make good sense for you to pay $25 and the foundation would get $20 this year. Would that be any different this year than last year or previous years?
No. What do
so
you? I don't
think it's really worth doing gift cards if we have to buy them and we're getting less than what we pay for them.
Okay.
I don't know. Does anyone else feel differently?
Well, I would agree because, I would agree with that. It'd be nice to get at least the amount you spent. I mean, when I bought the TJ Maxx, the Marshalls, the Home Goods, things like that, for our raffles at the trivia night, they do bring in a lot of raffles. I mean, that's an item you see a lot of tickets in. And I think the LL Bean ones I was getting were silent auction items. But we should get the value of the card.
I know, like WGBH auctions online, a lot of times they get more than the value from patrons. Right. They want to be supportive of the organization.
Yeah.
We can discuss that further if people want to. Okay. I think that's great for tonight.
Okay. All right. I'll call for a motion. I'm making a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting at 7:43 p.m.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll second it. Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Night,
night.
thank you all.
Great,
Go
thanks a
home.
lot, guys.
Oh.
Right?
Night.
Oh, you'll email us about another meeting, Karen?
Yes, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Night.